Hello everybody and welcome to In the Driver's Seat with dubizzle. And yet I have another special guest with me, a man of many talents. He has many eggs in many baskets. Fahad, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much for coming. What do you think of the place?
I think dubizzle has been a dream since the beginning. I've lived in Dubai always. And for me, dubizzle is childhood memories. It's the present and it's also the future. The place, when I walked in the first time, I never knew I would ever, so it's more of a dream to see the dubizzle staff, especially you and everyone that's working behind these amazing stories that we hear every day. So overwhelming, and what I've heard is it's just where it comes from a place of serenity. Why? Because I think authenticity is attached to dubizzle. You have created a marketplace that helps eradicate monopolistic regimes that existed in the car market, the car mafia that we call. But then dubizzle has done a good job in eradicating that monopoly to bring price competition, to also let individuals sell their cars at good prices. Otherwise, you'd see them go to dealers and literally get ripped off, I'd say. But dubizzle is a savior in that case. And to see the hub, what you've done with it, to see that, and why the hub? Because the customers are there, right? So there's so many things that you guys are thinking of for the customers, and that's overwhelming. This is the reason why I said it's overwhelming. Yeah.
I hope it's overwhelming in a good way, though. I do know that we have a lot of things here that are happening because obviously our goal here is to make buying and selling your next car as easy as possible. Hence the slogan, no hustle, no bustle. And what we offer here is everything, as I just said, from A to Z. If you want to get finance on your car, insurance, if you want to buy a car, and if you want to buy a car quickly, you can do that. We've got a very large inventory of over 300 plus vehicles that we have, and then we have the managed services as well. So the large selection. If you want to sell your car, we have many options as well, which be managed, or you can sell it straight to dubizzle. Plus, we have many other features, including now including trade-in. We've got buyback guarantee. We have vehicle inspection. We have 360 vehicle checking. Even car photography as well, which is what we're sat on right now. Is actually where we take the pictures. I do apologize if the lights keep shining on the car. The BMW wants to be part of the podcast as well, and it's the first time ever we've had one that has been this excited to come on the podcast here today. And I think it's probably because of this. Now,
The key,
yes. This is a key to a car. And I've seen one before. I've seen it mainly on the 7 Series. And I know one of the first videos that we ever did here in the hub was with a 7... it's an M550i we did it with. And I don't know if you've seen one of these, because you spent a lot of time in the industry.
Yeah,
So-
I have seen one of these, but the problem with these keys, it's not a key anymore. It's
It's
a
not.
remote.
Exactly. It's a little touchscreen. You probably can't see it from here.
Yeah, but
and
it's
it's
a
probably not going
touchscreen.
to play nice with me now. But if I turn it
Yeah.
on, the car turns on for a start.
Yeah.
And then it actually is a touchscreen display, which I think
Please
is
don't make it
probably-
move forward, right?
I don't know if we can. I don't know if it'll do it because we're sat right in front of it. It's going
Right.
to start blaring sensors off that we're
Exactly.
here. I mean, it'd be pretty cool to be able to sneak forward, wouldn't it? How much depth have we got here? Nah, yeah, you're right. I think.
Is
we'll
it
leave there.
insured?
Yeah.
By your
100%.
insurance?
That's a good question. I just realised.
Yeah.
I think we should. We're probably insured. It shouldn't be
Yeah,
too much of
it
an
should,
issue.
it should.
But yeah, the future of cars is very interesting. You know, cars are mechanical, but now they're becoming technologically advanced. They're becoming pieces of tech. I mean, we see this with Teslas. We see this with electric cars. We're seeing it now with ICE cars as well. There are so many computer systems that monitor, that constantly run inside this. I mean, the computer in this car is probably calculating things millions upon millions of times every second, and it's not just doing one thing here and there, it's monitoring absolutely everything.
You'd not believe, about 3 days back, Gargash Mercedes, the one that owns Mercedes over here, the dealership, posted an electric G-Wagon that's coming out. Now, you know what that means, right? An electric G-Wagon. The G-Wagon was known for the brutal emission, power, raw power, in order to bring out a child's dream, right? It was the dream. You press the accelerator and you feel the vroom, yeah?
Yeah.
And that part itself, when it's turned into electric, when they're bringing out an EV out of a G-Wagon, somewhere it's a turn off, I'd say. Why? Because I texted Gargash on their Instagram channel, official channel. And they said, yeah, unfortunately, and liked my comment. And I said, the only thing that this car is going to do is put off what we hear from a Tesla. All those emissions and noise, this was the only offset to that noise. 1 G-Wagon, 10 Teslas in a year.
Yeah.
And now you're taking that away from us. What do we do? There has to be an offset. Every reaction has an opposite and equal reaction, right? So it's something that literally blew me away. With the G-Wagon already being a hybrid in certain cases, you know, the interior cluster with the 2020. So it was interesting, and like you said, technology has just gone way beyond.
Yeah.
Like, I do not know when self-driving cars, drones are here in Dubai.
True.
The G-Tech that just happened, we saw the official drone for Dubai Police take off the other day. So let's see where things are going with NEOM cities and cars and technology improving. We need to catch up fast.
Yeah,
we need to learn this, otherwise it's going to be a big problem for us.
And the thing is with IC units now, the car is getting too excited. It's very happy to be here. So I'm just going to pass the key off camera to one of the crew offside here. Yeah. Thank you for taking this. Yeah, I don't know why. This is like the first.
Beep, beep, I want to be in.
I think it also has something to say about it being possibly an electric car at some point, because of course this is a V8, it's a V8.
It should be a V8.
X5.
Yeah, it should be a V8, yeah.
This is a petrol-powered car. I'm not sure with the cylinder capacity. It's probably an i6 or a V8, one of the two here. But I agree with you, because electric cars, I know we keep talking about this as well, but this is the future. This is what's coming, and we can't stop it. It's going to happen whether we like it or not. You know, I'm a big fan of Dodge and Volvo as well. So you've probably seen that they announced the new electric charger is coming.
Yeah.
And for me, it looks incredible. You know, it looks like the old one. Okay, there are obviously some things that have been molded a bit differently for safety reasons.
The sound through the speakers.
That's what drives me up the wall. Fake
sound.
noises, fake engine noises, and blender noises.
Yeah,
now,
blend noises.
They've tried, and yes, it doesn't sound as bad as, say, some other cars do. I found a lot of electric cars just sound like very fast remote control cars. You know, even I'm a big fan of motorsports. I can't stand to watch Formula E because it's just that high-pitched whining noise they all generate. But we have to live with it, because this is what the future is, you know.
But what about the old American muscle? Where's the American muscle?
Yes. So this is the thing. We're going to start now losing a lot of the traditional cars, you know. We're losing wagons. Wagons and estates now are pretty much obsolete, except for Audi's RS6. Volvo have unofficially confirmed that there will be no more wagons. There will be no electric ones either, which breaks my heart, because I would have bought one in a heartbeat. But Audi appears to be the last of the manufacturers to still be building a wagon. No one else is building it.
The RS6.
Because everyone is shifting their focus to SUVs and then crossovers and then electric cars. That's basically the ladder.
And that's exactly what happened with the Mercedes W12 engine. So, and I really wanted to ask you this question at dubizzle, because we need to understand that once you eradicate a car out of manufacturing, the price goes up for the cars that exist in the market. And that's what we have seen with the W12 engines, right? Or the Mercedes. Now they have eradicated the entire lot of, I guess, V8 or V12s as well. So have you seen that fluctuate in dubizzle? Have you seen the older cars that have stopped production? What about the prices of these cars?
See, I'll be honest here, I'm probably not the best person to ask this question to.
Right.
I mean, a better question would be, how much is fuel price? How much of the fuel prices that when they're increasing affects the market? Are people selling these larger engines? You know, are people selling more V12s and V8s and then buying cars with 4 cylinders or altogether hybrids and then electric cars? This is a common trend that we've seen. We've seen cars. The whole reason we have a lot of Teslas at the moment is because the demand for electric vehicles is so high, because of the fluctuating fuel prices, because every month it changes. Sometimes it's a small change, sometimes it's a drastic change, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. So a lot of people are looking for a more cost-effective way of getting to and from work. And obviously the most cost-effective way is to buy an electric car, bar obviously public transport. But if you live kilometers away from the office, and I'm talking a lot of kilometers, for example, like I do, I don't have the option of public transport. It take me about an hour and a half to get there via the bus. So obviously an electric car is somewhere. But outside of dubizzle, I do agree with you though, because cars that have these larger engines are now going to, at some stage, be collector's items. I'm not saying every single one's going to be a collector's item. Yes, the V8 Phaeton will definitely be a collector's item at some point.
The W12s, definitely.
Yeah, these will all be collector's items because they just will not exist anymore. Yeah. Because we'll go fully electric, we won't have anything that's petrol powered anymore, and people will be like, well, I want to feel the car. I need that raw emotion. It's the same thing with manual gearboxes, right? Manual gearboxes have been slowly phased out over the past couple of years. Very few manufacturers are doing them. You know, the new 400Z is doing it. The Supra is coming back with the manual as well. There's obviously the iconic station wagons, stations that we have here, including the Patrol and the Land Cruiser. They have their manual versions that the country still loves to this day. But unfortunately, we have to face reality. They're going because
you don't believe there was a Mercedes C63 W12. The car around 6-7 years back would cost on dubizzle about 150,000 dirhams. 120,000 if you're lucky. Maybe 98 if you're very lucky. 2 months back, I saw that car for 612,000.
A C63. Which year was it?
2012.
600,000.
C63 W12 engine.
Was that even stock? Is that an engine swap?
No. It's not an engine swap. It comes as stock.
I thought the C63 had the bi-turbo V8. They had the 6.2.
And they also have a 12. They had a 12 as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and then the G-Wagon coupe. So, what do you call it? It's the coupe, right? The G-Wagon coupe. The two-door,
yeah.
The two-door G-Wagon. That one as well. Like a 2012 model, 2010 model, you'd see it for 500,000 dirhams, 550,000 dirhams.
Well, I think cars like this are a little different, right? Because they are very low volume, right? They don't build a lot of them. They do get sold very fast, but there's only probably like 100 to 200 of them at best, sometimes 300. So these kind of cars, I agree with 100%. They're really expensive, and they're just going to go up and up in price. It doesn't matter about the chip shortages. It doesn't matter about vehicles not being available. These are going to skyrocket in price anyway because they're collector's cars. They're like the E-types. They're like the F40s, the Testarossas. These are cars that are heavily sought after. Right. And probably in about 10 years, that car's will be worth 1.2 million because the C63 now 100%. Is a four-cylinder engine.
100%. Because they've eradicated the entire lot. The entire Mercedes does not have a W12 anymore. And in the same way, do not have a V8 anymore. Right? It's becoming crazy. But do you think in Dubai, so on one side, you have the government laying off subsidies for electric car owners, like free parking, no solic, and so many more things, right? Building up electric chargers in malls, petrol stations, free to charge, right? So the government's doing a lot. But do you think the Dubai market, the exclusive luxury car market, right? Because cars are a part of Dubai lifestyle today, If you don't have a car if you don't see a car in the world, you'd rather see it in Dubai. You would on the road, right? Even if you're back in Dubai or
100%.
You'd see it on the road.
City, I don't get it.
You'd see it anywhere. You'd see a Lamborghini parked maybe as a taxi somewhere down there, So with that culture and the government's subsidy, do you think as electric vehicles come in, is there going to be a chance that the ones that can will still guzzle and buzzle the gas or put down their feet on the throttle?
So I think so here, and for one reason and one reason only. We have such a rich culture of off-roading, you cannot off-road an electric car. It is impossible. Because especially when you think of it, a lot of the batteries in these cars are underneath the floorboards, right? You can imagine cresting a dune and you land really hard below.
Kaboosh.
Exactly, your batteries are gone.
No, you're kaboom.
Oh, that's also true. Yes, you're kaboom as well.
It's crazy.
But I think it's coming. It's going to happen no matter what. Because like you said, there were a lot of free incentives that maybe some of them now are no longer existing, but I know the free parking still does exist in certain areas. And I think it's the Salik as well that you still get when you register your electric car. But I still think because it's still relatively in its infancy, it's still a new kind of concept. It's happening, but not at the speed that you'd see it in, say, Europe and these countries. Because if you look at everywhere else in the world, they're looking to ban ICE cars by, some are doing it as early as 2024, some are doing it by 25, 6, 30 or whatever. There hasn't been a real announcement here. And I think obviously they're looking at it, right? They're looking at what people do. They're looking at the way the market is grasping these kind of cars. Are people wanting to buy them? And going back to the question I said before, the demand here is pretty high. You know, people are buying electric cars because they see it as a cheaper alternative to run their daily routine. You know, getting to and from work, going to the grocery store, going to drop the kids off at school, and all these kind of things. It's just there is such a high demand, but there's such a low volume. It's quite difficult for everybody to get their hands on them. I personally would like to buy one. I'd like to get Polestar 2 because I'm a die-hard Volvo fan. I always have been, always will be. And the biggest concern for me, the biggest issue that I'm facing is charging the car. Because while there are charging stations everywhere, and literally just everywhere you go, there's a charging station. We don't have one here. We need to get one installed. I just realized I need to get that done.
needs to get a charging station.
Yes, we need to get a charging station. All these electric cars that we have need to get one fitted somewhere. If you live in an apartment, you have a bit of a problem because you cannot charge your.
Oh yeah,
you cannot charge it. You know, because you can't.
And it depends on your building allowing it for in the first place if you have a parking in the building. But what about those buildings that do not have a parking?
Exactly, that is the biggest issue. Because like, if I want to park if I get a Polestar 2 and I want to park it on the street, the battery dies. You know,
you stay next to a mall then.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, I do live in an area. There's about 4 chargers nearby, so I could probably just leave it at the nearest mall and then just walk
cycle your way.
Exactly. So saving the environment in 2 ways, right?
Yeah.
I'm cycling and I'm charging my car. I'm driving an eco-friendly car as well because it's a battery car. But I think it's going to happen. I think it will happen not as fast as other countries, but it will happen here.
There's only one way it could happen very fast. If the Dubai #1 plate comes on a Tesla.
Yes, this is true. Because obviously a symbol of power, wealth, and luxury is the G-Wagon. And the Range Rovers as well, you know.
Right.
And a lot of people adopt these cars because they are...
The influence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, they're very good cars as well. I mean, the G-Wagon went unchanged for over 2 decades, you know, actually probably even longer.
Yeah.
You know, it was an icon for both celebrities and, you said, the royal family. And you see them on the street corner here. People love the cars here. But yeah, I mean, we could go on forever about this, you know, but I have another question for you. It's about your experience with dubizzle, because like me, I think you're 5 years younger than I am.
Right.
You're 28, and you said that dubizzle has been a very integral part of your life, and it's probably one of the earliest websites you probably would have used. The same for me, actually, because I've spent a very long time here, and we launched back in 2005. So for a lot of people that have been here for a long time, it has played an integral part of our lives.
100%, because as a kid, if you're in Dubai, you would have dubizzle on your phone. If you do not have a phone, you'd be going on dubizzle on your father's or mother's laptop. There's only one reason why. Your dream car exists there.
Yes.
And you
100%.
know that you could get it at the right price, because there's price competition that's been played out there. It's not one place which is only exclusive to one sort of car. All the cars, in fact, all the cars that exist in Dubai, from the Bugatti Veyron Chiron, all the way down to a JDM 350 2004, Nissan 350Z. And both are dream cars for any kid. So I, as a kid, in 2005, I was in 4th or 5th standard. And like I told you, my dad was buying the Mercury Mountaineer. So the Mercury Mountaineer back in the day had these new sliding levers on the floor in order to get onto the car, right? So you'd open the door and they'd come out from, it used to be a big thing back in 2006 and 2007. So we wanted to get that. And we would search dubizzle. Dubizzle used to be our thing from 8 o'clock in the morning till 12 a.m. in the night.
Just searching for cars. I mean, I tend to do it a lot as well. I mean, we're currently in the market.
Your dream car is there.
Yep.
It's actually there. If there is a distressed deal, if a buyer wants cash, right? If a seller wants cash, and they put the car at 10% lower than the market price, it takes 5 minutes for it to get sold.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of dubizzle.
Yep.
How many cars do you have getting uploaded daily, on a daily basis or a monthly basis?
That's a tough one. So at any given time, we have on the website between 28 to about 32,000 cars.
Wow.
And that's across 7 Emirates, you know.
Wow.
And this is a constant stream of private sellers, independent dealers, and of course the official manufacturers as well from their pre-owned side of things. So there is a lot of cars being uploaded on a daily basis. You know, we're talking about hundreds, if not thousands. I don't obviously want to say 10,000 because I don't think that's the close to the number. I would assume it's in the thousands somewhere on a daily basis. One
very important question for buyers, and especially individuals. The reason why I say this is, I mean, all of us have gone dubizzle, and we have always tried to bring out and search for the best car in terms of the best segment. But the price, sustainability, also the price check that exists on dubizzle has sometimes acted as a clickbait, and sometimes even, because dubizzle is the car market, right? The online car market of Dubai, or of UAE, also changed the pricing structure of the second-hand market or the used car market in Dubai. It has affected that, right? So if you see 5 car, if there is there's a huge demand for a car and the supply is less, so there are 10 cars, and if these 10 cars are held by 4 individuals or 4 dealers, for example, can they play around the car, the market price of the car? And how, I mean, what is the best way as customers do we try to look at this and try to get the best out of it? What are the tips and tricks?
So this is a very interesting one because obviously there's a mix of different users who use the website in different ways. So like I said, we've got private sellers, we've got independent dealers, and then we've got the OEMs. And all of them will have their own price for the vehicles that they're selling. Obviously an independent dealer, they'll have, and the OEM as well, will have a little bit of a higher price tag because of course, especially with the OEM, it comes with things like warranty, service contracts, full history, stuff like this. From a dealer, you're buying it from a trusted source. And then from a private seller, it is from a private individual. They might not have all the logbooks, they might not have warranty left, stuff like this. However, from what I've understood, talking to a number of people recently, is that a lot of people actually use the business as a benchmark to see what they're charging, what other people are charging for their cars. So this is kind of where this, I want to say, convoluted prices come from, where people tend to go like, oh yeah, my car was worth this 4 years ago, it's still worth it now, because that guy's doing it. But a lot of people don't consider certain things a factor when it comes to selling a car. You know, like even small chips, stone chips, stuff like this, painted bumpers.
The trims, the basic and the full option.
Yeah, colors of the interior, colors of the exterior, mileage driven, or
warranty.
Kilometers, warranty, service contracts, books, these kind of things. These all play into effect. So yes, somebody might have a car listed at say 50,000 dirhams, but your car isn't worth that because you don't have the other things. You know, you don't have the contract, you don't have the books, you don't have this, the color is faded at the rear, stuff like this. But they'll see it as a different price, and they go, well, you know, my car is worth that, so I'll do it. I'll sell it at that price. And sometimes they sell it, sometimes they don't. That's something that happens. So that's something that we're, you know, doing here at Dubizzle Cars. You know?
What about clickbait?
That's an interesting one. You know, there's other platforms that you could probably target with that because there's certainly one that their prices don't make any sense whatsoever. I'm not going to name drop anything here. But we try to keep it within reason, right? So we have methods in place that can assist you. You know, we have a valuation tool that will help you price your car correctly. You know, we have an entire dedicated team internally that can help you get the right price for your car, and not just through a managed service, but from an evaluation point of view. You know, we can give you the correct evaluation of your car as per the market value. You know, we constantly monitor what the market is doing and how prices are being listed to ensure that, you know, even cars that are sold here at Dubizzle Cars are the correct price that's supposed to be sold at. You know, they're the market price, they are market value.
And how does that affect when you, so I obviously understand that Dubizzle has now started buying cars and then selling it out of your dealership that you have over here that we just saw outside. Yeah. With obviously the, you know, the basic and the full comprehensive check for 250 and 499. My question over here is, when you're buying cars from the market and you're also evaluating the cars, how do you convince the individual sitting in front that you're doing justice?
It's interesting you say that though, because when you come to the hub, whether you buy or sell a car here, we have the 360 health check for every vehicle, and then we have the advanced inspection as well, which is 120 and 240 point inspection. So when we get the inspection reports, now from the buyer's perspective, if you're buying a car through us, we give you that information. We give you an inspection report, so you know exactly everything you need to know about the car that you're buying, down to the smallest detail. So this car behind me is not exactly perfect. It has very small slight imperfections on it. And these kind of things will be in the reports, right? Now, I'm not saying this is a bad car. Feel free to buy it. It is a beautiful car. The key is marvelous. Low mileage as well. Plus, it has beautiful brown leather interior. And it's an X5. It's probably the most luxurious cars on the planet. But because it has like this little tiny stone chip, which is a normal thing here, honestly, because parking lots here, there's stones all over the roads.
Yeah.
You know, you've got these door dings from other people who don't care about your car. They only care about their car. This is going to happen anyway. But these kind of things will be on the report, you know, and that adds value to the car that you're selling, that we're selling, or even the car that you're buying, because you know exactly what's going on here. But by adding value to it, I'm speaking here about the inspection report, that you know what's happening both inside and outside the car, not because of the stone chip.
And that's 100% what we need as customers, right? Because value is not in terms of financial amounts to what valuates the car, but it's also about what the car is. Because if you do not understand that very factor, customer retention becomes a problem, which is why you see dealerships do a one-off deal, sell a fully accidental car, not talking about the accident, and the buyer finds out after 7-8 months. And they're devastated. Do you think that buyer would ever go back to that seller? Never. And I think dubizzle at that point of time, to have your dealership right bang opposite your hub where you check with all these point checks. And even for the sellers who are coming in, right? They want to sell their cars and you help them with that. Or if you just want to evaluate a car as necessary. So I think that's an awesome thing to do, because the only thing that separates you from the dealership outside is customer retention. You would not want to lose your customers.
Not
for mere 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 dirhams. Mm-hmm. For you, your customer acquisition cost itself is massive.
Yeah.
So I understand the point, and which is why I say, like, it's overwhelming to see this actually happen. I thought it was a mere hearsay, you know, when you look at it from the online perspective, a digital, virtual perspective. But now, when you walk into their dealership showroom or their hub, you see it happening right in front of you, right? And it's not like a gimmick that they're trying to put up or anything. You could walk in at any point of time, and it would be the same thing. You'd see a plethora of cars, people walking in as buyers, and people walking in as sellers as well. Somebody might just be leaving with a car. Did you sell any car today?
I need to check that, actually. I would presume we have, yes.
See, I'm lucky for them.
Yeah. Everyone so far has been lucky, actually.
You're right.
But it's interesting what you noticed here is, it's interesting what you mentioned before we were here about accident cars. Now, this is a topic that we're going to save for another episode.
Right.
But Fahad, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Chris.
It's been great to talk to you. And thank you so much for watching this episode of In the Driver's Seat with dubizzle, and we'll see you soon.